Hello, so in today's lecture of automatic control, lecture 10, we will discuss about modeling in state space. So before starting state space modeling, first we need to understand what is modern control theory and how it is different from the conventional control theory. Nowadays, systems are becoming more and more complex. Here, complexity means in terms of their dynamic behavior, they behave non-linearly. Also, they are large scale systems. Okay, and these complex systems may have multiple input and multiple outputs and generally known as MIMO systems, and which are difficult to analyze using the conventional theory. Okay. So due to increase in system complexity, also easy access to large scale computers, modern control theory has been developed since around 1960s. Okay, so due to proliferation of computers, easy access, and huge memory, we can analyze complex systems, and this modern control theory came into picture. In classical or conventional control theory, only single input, single output systems, those are called CISO systems. Also, those systems must be linear time invariant. Such system can be analyzed using the conventional control theory. While modern control theory deals with multiple input, multiple output, single input, single output, linear, non-linear, time invariant, or time varying systems. Okay, any type of complex system can be analyzed with the help of modern control theory. So what is this model control theory? It is based on the concept of state. We will discuss what is a state. Here, systems differential equations, indeed all these dynamic systems are represented by differential equations, and those differential equations are converted into a system of lower order time domain equations. Okay. So what we do actually, we have differential equations of the system representing the behavior of that particular system. If it is a higher order differential equation, we reduce it to the lower order time domain equation. And those equations are called state equations. Those equations are called state equations. First, we need to understand what is a state. The state of a dynamic system is the smallest set of variables, and those variables are called state variables, such that knowledge of these variables at time t is equals to t0, initial knowledge of those state variables together with knowledge of the applied input when time is equal or greater t0. Okay, here t0 is your initial time. It may be 0 or it may be greater than 0, this initial time. So if you know the value of these state variable at initial time t0 and the value of input at the time greater the initial time or equal the initial time, then you can completely determine the behavior of the system for any instant of time. For any instant of time, you can predict how the system will behave, what will be the output of your system. Okay. If there are n states in the system, then those states can be given by say x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 and so on up to xn. N states are there. And these states can be written in the form of a vector and represent to a state vector. So concept of state is clear. Now come to the state space. This is a space, like we have three-dimensional space, we have two-dimensional space, we have state space. And this state space is n-dimensional space. Okay, there will be n dimension. Dimension 1, dimension 2, say dimension 3, okay, say dimension 4, say dimension 5, 6, 7, many more, and finally dimension n. This is an n-dimensional space whose coordinate axis consists of systems states. Okay, so these axes are nothing but system states: x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, and so on, and finally xn. Clear? So this space is known as state space. State space equations. These equations are defined in terms of three variables. Indeed, those are input variables represented by u vector, output variable represented by y vector, and state variables, of course, it will be there and represented by x vector. Okay. These are standard representation u, y, x, but you can give another representation as well. Okay, but in a standard form, input variables, input vector is represented by u, output by y, and the state vector by x. It is important to understand that number of state variable, as I told you, there will be n number of state variables. That will be equals to total number of integrators in the system. If you know how many integrations are required in the system, that will be equal to your number of states variable. Alternatively, you can define number of state variable by counting the order of your differential equation. If there are three differential equations, so you check the order of your first differential equation plus order of your second differential equation plus order of your third differential equation. So this summation will give you number of states of the system. Clear? Now come to the next topic, state space representation. How we represent in state space. So first you consider a MIMO system with multiple input and multiple output. This is my system. This is my MIMO system having many inputs and many outputs with n number of state variables. Okay, so we have total states of the system x1, x2, x3, x4, and finally xn. R number of inputs. We have input u1, u2, u3, u4, and finally ur. M number of outputs, y1, y2, y3, y4, y5, y6, and so on, and finally ym. Okay, all are time dependent indeed. So it should be, in fact, I just omitted this t, but all are time dependent. So it should be xt, x2t, x3t, and so on. Similarly, these will be the time function y1t, y2t, y23, y3t, and so on. Similarly, input will be time dependent, u1t, u2t and urt. So I omitted this notation, but these are time dependent, of course. So these like state variables, inputs and output change with time. So it should be written in like this: xt, yt, ut. Define the following equation with derivative of states. Okay. So we have states x1 to xn. These are states, and we take their derivative. Okay, dot with respect to time. X1 dot, x2 dot, x3 dot, finally xn dot. So this x1 dot will be a function. Will be a function of your input u1 to ur. Of course, time function will be there because it will be changing with respect to time, and the states of the system. Okay, as we discussed here, that if you have the knowledge of these variable state variables at time t is equals to 0, together with knowledge of inputs, okay, so you can get the output of your system. So similarly, if you have the knowledge of these state variables, okay, at the initial time, input of the systems, of course time, so you can describe the behavior of the system. Okay, change in the state of the system with respect to time you can predict. Okay, because these are derivatives, so x1 x2 are derivatives, so you can predict the evolution of your system with respect to time if you know these values, initial values of this, and the input is, you know how, if it is a constant input or changing with respect to time. If you know these values, you can determine the behavior of the system, how the states will be changing. Similarly, for x2 will be a function, say f2, of states and the inputs. Similarly, derivative of xn state will be a function f1, states and the inputs of the system. In short, these things can be written in form of vector like this equation. So this is a vector of state derivatives will be a function of vector of x, vector of input, and the time vector. So this is first state equation. Now the output of the system will also be a function of system states, inputs, and time. Say, for example, we are interested to calculate some output of the system. That output can be a state of the system. This output can be, say, x1. It can be x1 also. Okay. Anything you want to observe from the system, you want to predict about the system, that is your y. Output is y. So that will be a function, say g1, g2. Okay. That will be a function of system states, system input, and the time. In short, these outputs, m outputs, because we said that we have m outputs of the system. Okay, m number of output of the system we have. So these outputs can be written in the vector form. So yt is the output vector, is a function of state vector, input vector, and time vector. Okay. So this is your output equation. This is your state equation because we calculate derivative of state. Here it is output equation because we calculate output of the system. Okay, whatever is desired. This is called the state space representation. So finally, this state space representation is written like this: x dot t is equals to, is a function of x u t. Okay. Indeed, this x will be the xt. Okay, we omitted this thing, but it will be there. This x will be the time dependent. This t will, this u will also be the time dependent. Okay. So this is called state space representation. We have state equation, we have output equation. So combination of state equation and output equation is called state space representation. And this is for the nonlinear system. Okay. Now we can simplify this representation because in this course we are going to deal with linear systems only. So if vector functions f and g, okay, this function f and g do not depend on time and the system is linearized about any operating point, then the above equations can be written for a linear time invariant systems LTI. We call it LTI, linear time invariant system. It is written as x dot t is equals to ax plus bu and y dot t is equals to cx plus du. Okay. Again, I am writing that this is time dependent, this axis. So xt. This u is also time dependent, ut. Okay. This x is also time dependent, xt. And this u is also time dependent, ut. Okay. So this is state space representation for linear systems, linear time invariant. Now there are two things. Linear system can be time invariant or it can be time variant. Okay. How you will differentiate? In case if this A matrix, so this A, B, C, D, A, B, C, and D are matrices. And if these matrices A, B, C, D are time dependent, then your system will be linear time varying system. If these A, B, C, and D matrices are constant matrices, not depending on time, then you can say this is the state space representation for linear time invariant system, time invariant. Okay. So what is this A matrix? It is state matrix. B is your input matrix. C is your output matrix. And D is called direct transmission matrix. Okay. X is your vector, state vector. I put here xt for more understanding. You can say xt is state vector, yt is your output vector, and u is your input vector. So ABCD are matrices and X, Y, U are vectors. Okay. If you have any states, so this vector will have n rows. If you have m outputs of the system, this vector will have m outputs, m rows. And if you have r input to the system, then this vector will have r number of rows. Clear? So in previous slide, we have described that the linear time invariant system is represented by this equation. X dot is equal to x plus b, y is equal to cx plus du. You need to remember it everywhere. X dot is equals to ax plus bu, y is equals to cx plus d. You can convert this equation in block diagram. Clear? So x dot, this x dot is nothing but the summation of ax plus bu. So we take a sum box here. Okay. We take summation block here and we add ax. Okay, we take a block of a. Suppose somewhere here we are getting x. So this x is multiplied with a and I take this ax here. Another term is bu. Okay, I take a block, constant block of b, and we define some input to the system. U is coming and this u is multiplied with b and we get here BU. Okay. So here we have BU, here we have AX. So AX plus BU is equals to X dot. At the output, we will have X dot. Now I need X. So what I do? I take integration of that. So we put an integration block. So X dot will be X now. Output of integration will be X. And that X we use in this line. In this line, we multiplied this X to the A. Second equation, it is saying to us that Y is nothing but the summation of Cx plus Du. So we take a summation block here, clear? And we need Cx plus Du. We know X is coming here. We multiply this X with C. So we get Cx here. Okay. And now we need Du. So we take a D block here and we multiply this D to the input which we are giving to the system. So Du. So at this point we will have Du. Okay. The summation of this Cx plus Du will give you output Y. That is my second equation. So both the equations can be represented with a graphical vision. Okay. So that is the flow diagram representation. Here U, Y, X dot can be a single value if it is a SISO system, single input, single output system. So this can be a single value or this can be vector or MIMO system. If we have multiple input and multiple output, so those terms will be a vector. Okay. Let's try to understand this state space representation by modeling of a system, mechanical system. We can say state space modeling. How we model this system in state space. Here we have this system, very classical system, mass connected to a spring and a dashpot, okay, and fixed to the wall here, okay, and we apply this force on the mass F. And due to application of this force, there is a displacement Z of this mass. Indeed, there will be some velocities of this mass Z dot or dz over dt. So this problem, we need to calculate the differential equation of this system, then the transfer function of this system, and finally, what we are studying, that state space modeling of this system. Okay. And also, it is interesting if we can draw the block diagram using the state space equation, which we have developed here. We do one by one. First part is differential equation. So derivation of differential equation. So from the Newton's second law, we know that mass into acceleration is equals to summation of all forces acting on the body. So mass is m, acceleration indeed second derivative of z, because z is position. So d2z over dt square will be your acceleration. So this force, mass into acceleration of this body m will be equals to this spring force, this dashpot force, and this external applied force. So these two force, spring force and the dashpot force, will oppose this force, will oppose this applied force. So this is spring force, say minus kz, because it is opposing this applied force. So we take minus for this, and plus for this. Minus bz dot, it's the spring force, and applied force, we take it positive. So finally, differential equation of the system is this. And this is a second order equation because we have second derivative of z. Now, second part, we need to calculate the transfer function of this system. And we know for taking transfer function, we take the Laplace of this equation. So Laplace equation, Laplace transform of the derived differential equation, we will calculate. This is our differential equation we derived in the previous slide. Okay. Mz double dot bz dot plus kz is equals to f. Now we take Laplace transform with zero initial condition. So m is a constant, z double dot will be s square zs, b is constant, and s dot z dot will be s into zs, k is constant, and z is your zs, and f is fs. Now output is your zs or input is your fs. So Laplace transform of output divided by Laplace transform of input is known as transfer function with zero initial conditions. So from this equation, we get this transfer function of our system. It is modeling in transfer function. Now come to the modeling in state space, which is the main topic, state space modeling. First, to model in state space, we need to follow these four steps. First, obtain the differential equation of the system. Define the states of the system. As I told you, there will be n number of states of the system. C, find equations for derivatives of states. Okay. So once you identify states, say x1, x2, x3, you need to find their derivative, x dot. Okay. Then write those equation in the standard state equation, that is x dot is equals to ax plus bu. It is your state equation. Similarly, in the step D, you find equation for output, say y1, y2, y3, and write those equation in matrix form, that is your output equation. This is your state equation, this is your output equation. Two equations are required for the state space representation. State space representation include your state equation and your output equation. Let's apply these four steps on your spring mass dashboard system. So first step is differential equation. We have already derived mz double dot plus bz dot plus kz is equals to f. Step B, we need to define the states of this system. This is a second order system. You can see second order system. Highest derivative is second. So equation is second order. So there will be two states in the system. There will be two states of the system according to the order of the system. Just we assume those states are represented by x1 and x2. Okay. So if order of this equation is n, so how many states will be there? There will be n states. Since order of this equation here, order of this equation is second, so there will be only two states, say x1 and x2. Those states, we assume that x1 is your z, that is position of this mass. Indeed, because we define that position of this mass is z and velocity of this mass is z. So first state x1 we say z. Second state we say velocity of the mass, z dot. X1 is z, x2 is z dot, means x1 is position and x2 is your velocity of the mass. What third step says? Third step say find equations for derivatives of state. Now find the derivative of this state. So you define two state x1 and x2. Now find derivative of these. So x1 dot and x2 dot. What will be the x1 dot? X1 dot will be the z dot, isn't it? It will be the z dot. x1 dot will be the z dot. But I want to eliminate this z because now I have changed my system from z to x. So I want to eliminate this z dot. So as you know, z dot is nothing but the x2. So I say x1 dot is x2. Now calculate x2 dot. What is x2 dot? X2 dot will be nothing but the second derivative of z. Now you need to eliminate this z double dot. How you can do? From this main equation number 1, you can get the value of z double dot. And z double dot will be f minus kz minus bz dot, okay, divided by m. So f minus bz dot minus kz whole divided by m. Since z dot is nothing but x2, because we need to eliminate z from the equation, so we put z dot is x2 and this z by the x1. Okay, so z by the x1. So you rewrite this equation. So final equation will be x1 dot is equals to x2, x1 dot is equals to x2, and x2 dot is equals to minus k by m x1 minus b by m x2 plus f by m. You see, z is completely eliminated. So these two equations 4 and 5 are called state space equation of the system. Okay? So 4 and 5 represent state space equations of the system. Clear? Last step says that write in matrix form. Whatever state equation you have achieved, write in matrix form. We will do that. So these two equations 4 and 5 in the matrix form. And matrix form, its standard is x dot is equals to ax plus bu. So first we write x dot. We know this. So we simply put x dot is nothing but a vector having two rows, x1 dot, x2 dot. Ax, a I don't know. What is this a? I need to calculate. X I know, it is my state vector, x1, x2. B I don't know, I need to calculate. F I know, the applied force is your F. Okay. Now we will calculate A and B matrix. How we calculate that? We see coefficient of x1 and x2, in equation 4 and 5. So equation 4, coefficient of x1 and x2, here coefficient of x1 is 0 and coefficient of x2 is 1. So we put here 0 and 1. Okay. Now in equation 2, you find coefficient of x1 and x2. In equation 5, sorry, second equation, we have coefficient of x1 is minus k by m and coefficient of x2 is minus b by m. We put those values here. So this is your A matrix. You can calculate simply your A matrix here. Now come to B matrix. You find coefficient of F in equation 4. So when we look here, there is no F, coefficient of F is 0. We put it 0 here. Okay. In next equation, we find coefficient of F, it is 1 by m. This is 1 by m. We put here 1 by m. So this is your B matrix. Simply you can calculate. Once you have these state equations, you can calculate your matrix form of your state equation. Next step is find equation for output. What output you want to observe? For example, I am interested to see the output as the position of this mass, Z. I want to locate position of this mass, say Z. So now this is my output, say Y is nothing but the Z. I need to write this Z in terms of states. As you know, your output equation is Y is equals to Cx plus du. Y I know I am interested in Z, so this is my Y. C, I don't know. C, Z, C, X I know. This is my state vector. Okay. D is another matrix, and U is input vector. Okay. So even you can add here. This is your D matrix. Okay. Anything. This is your D matrix multiplied by your U vector, Cx plus Du. Okay. This is your U vector. But here this D matrix is 0. Okay. This D matrix is 0 because your output is can be found simply in terms of your state vector X. So this term will be 0. D is 0, so you when multiply U with the 0 matrix, it will be 0. So this term is vanished. This term is vanished. Come to this. So you have to write your Z in terms of X1 and X2. How you can write that? From this equation, if you look at what is your Z, your Z is nothing but the X1. Z is equals to X1. Okay. So you see the coefficient of X1. Coefficient of X1 is we put 1 because X1 is nothing but the Z and X2 will be 0. So when X2 will multiply with 0, so this will be 0. So only we will left with that Z is equals to X1, which satisfy this equation number 3. Okay. And if you want to locate velocity also, if you are interested to see the output velocity also, you can extend your vector Z. It will be your Z dot. Okay. And your matrix will be the 4 by 4. It will be your 0, 1. Okay. So Z dot will be equals to, this will be 0 and this will multiply this. So Z dot will be equals to X2. So here you can locate velocity as well, X2. Okay. It depends on you what you want to observe as output. Clear? So finally, we are having these two equations. Okay. This is your state equation. This is your output equation in terms of in matrix form. So it is nothing but X dot is equals to AX plus B, and this is your Y is equals to CX plus DU. Okay. These two equations you have. And your work is done. You can solve this equation in using MATLAB or any software or writing program in C and so on. Okay. But if you want to draw the block diagram for these two equations, you can. Okay. These are your state equations. You can draw the block diagram as well. So simply, you know, your X2 dot is a summation of 3 terms. Okay. Summation of your K by M X1, B by M X2. Okay. Plus F by M. So first we add these two terms. We take a summation point here and we write a block B by M. We put a block K by M. So both are added here. So this term is coming here. Okay. At this point, we get this K by M X1 and B by M X2. We get here at this point. Since these two terms are minus, we put a minus here. And this is added to the plus F by M. So F is our input, we know. We multiply our input with the block 1 by M. So we get here F by M. Okay, we get here F by M. Okay, so since this is a positive, so we put a plus sign here. So F by M, this positive minus these two terms will get you X2 dot. So here we get X2 dot. We integrate this X2 dot, we get X2. Okay. Come to first equation, it says to us X1 dot is X2. X1 dot is your X2. So this X2 is nothing but your X1 dot. Okay. And if you take integration of this, because this x2 is nothing but x1 dot. You take integration of this x1 dot, you will get your x1, which is your output. Clear? So here, this b by m should be multiplied with x2. So here we complete the loop. We multiplied this b by m with x2, and this k by m should be multiplied with x1. So here we are getting x1. We multiply it with the k by m. So we get our output x1. This is the output. This is the. So using this state equation, you can draw the block diagram as well. So this is how, whatever system you have, you can model in two different ways, either in transfer function, modeling in transfer function, or modeling in state space. Further, that state space model can be written in matrix form also in the block diagram form. These are different representation, whether it is transfer function, whether it is state space, you will have the same results. These are different ways of modeling, but the results will be same. This is the practice problem. I am giving you this electrical problem because we have completed this mechanical system. We did it for mechanical system. Now we will do for this electrical system. Okay. So here, this is electrical system having inductance L, resistance R, capacitance C. And due to this applied input voltage EI, there is a current in the system I. I will be running in the system. And at the end of this C capacitor, we can measure the output voltage, say EO. EI input, EO output voltage. I'm giving you a task that you first derive the differential equation, then the transfer function modeling, easy thing, and then state space representation, also the block diagram. So same steps, whatever we did for the mechanical system, we will do for the electrical system. And consider what is your input. Input is EI. You consider a input is EI and output is EO. That at output you want to observe or you want to see the output voltage behavior. Okay, you can do that. I'm giving you some like overview how you will solve this problem. So you can use the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So algebraic summation of all voltages in this circuit will be 0. We will take algebraic sum. So this input voltage will be divided. Some will drop in the resistance. Some voltage will drop in inductance. Some voltage drop in the capacitance. So basically input, whatever input voltage you are giving, some will go in resistance, some will go in inductance, some will go in the capacitance. So EI is equals to voltage drop in resistance is given by RI. Voltage drop in inductance is given by LdI by dt, and voltage drop in capacitance is given by 1 upon C integration of I dt. Also, the voltage drop across this capacitance, we can write the another equation for this loop. So we can say that this output voltage EO is equals to 1 upon C integration of I dt. Now, what you have to do, you have to eliminate I from equation number 1 and 2, because we are interested in EO and EI only. We say EI input and output EO. So we need to eliminate this I from everywhere. It is easy because EO is equals to this thing. So you simply put here EO. Okay, it will be your EO. Clear? So, when we from here, like integration of I is equals to C into EO. It is given from equation number 2. We get this. We take derivative of this. It will be, you will get the value of I. If you take another derivative of this, you will have di over dt. We put these values, value of this, value of this, value of this in equation number 1. Okay. When you put these values, you get your equation number 1. So final equation, differential equation is this. So first part is done. Second part, take the transfer function. To take transfer function, you have to take the Laplace with zero initial condition. I'm not going to tell you. You can do it. Okay. And the final Laplace transform. After Laplace transform, you will get the transfer function. Okay. So third, after modeling in transfer function, we come to the modeling in state space. Same steps you need to follow, whatever we discussed for the mechanical system. So this is your differential equation. Since it is a second order equation, we will assume two states of the system. X1 say equals to E0, X2 is say equals to EO dot. Okay, voltage and the voltage derivative. Two states we have taken. So now we will take the derivative of these two states, x1 dot and x2 dot. X1 dot will be equals to nothing but the x2. Okay, because x2 is EO dot. X1 dot will be EO dot. X1 dot is EO dot. This is equal to x2. First equation is done. Now you have to calculate x2 dot. X2 dot will be equals to EO double dot. EO double dot you can calculate from here. EO double dot you can calculate from here. So it will be this thing minus this thing. It will come this side. This will come this side, will become minus. So you will get the EO double dot. So value of EO double dot you put here. These are your third and fourth state equations. Now you write in matrix form as we discussed in the previous example. X dot you know. Okay. X dot is equals to AX plus BU. X dot we know X1 dot, X2 dot. X we know X1, X2. And input is our EI. Just you need to calculate the coefficient of X1, X2 in equation number 1 is 0, 1. Coefficient of X1, X2 in equation number 2, second equation, that is equation number 4, is minus 1 upon LC minus R upon L. So simply you can calculate this A matrix. For B matrix, you can calculate it by finding the coefficient of EI in first equation. It is 0, there is no EI. In the second equation, it is 1 upon LC. So we put 1 upon LC here. So simply you can find the A and B matrix. Output equation is state equation we calculated. Now output equation y is equals to Cx plus du. Y whatever you want to observe. So we want to observe output E0. Okay. So y we know, x we know, x1, x2, du. Okay. This is your D matrix multiplied by some u. Since D is 0, so this term will be vanished. So now you need to calculate C matrix. Simply for EO, you have this equation. So find the coefficient of x1, x2. Coefficient of x1 here is 1. Coefficient of x1 is 1. Coefficient of x2 is 0. There is no x2 in this equation. So this is 0. Okay. This is your second equation in terms of in matrix form. So both equation you have achieved. Similarly, you can put these equation number 3 and 4 in terms of block diagram. You practice yourself. I have given you the idea how you will solve. So this is enough for this class, state space representation. That is your modern control theory. And we learned that how to obtain the state equation and how to obtain the output equation of a system, and combination of these two equations is known as state space representation of a system. So thank you for now. We stop here, and this is the reference book you can follow. Thank you.